Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are once again live down here in the Bear Cave Studios for another episode of The Frenzy. With me, your host, Freddie Aloso, with my co host, Joey the Eagle. What's going on, Joe?
Just enjoying my nice New Jersey. Do you like it?
This guy. So, for those of you that are listening in, Joe is wearing his Miami Heat Vice jersey that I had to pay up in the bet of the Bills Eagles game. So, you're welcome, Toolface.
Well, first of all, that's strong.
Strong. It was strong. It was
I haven't
strong.
seen you all week at work, and you come out of the gates firing. Two, I plan on adding to the collection, so I showed you the next one I already want, which is the cotton candy blue. Yeah, that joint is.
That is fire. My big guy hit me up, was like, "Hey Dad, for Christmas, I'd like that one."
Oh,
He
he
gave
did. See,
he gave me a list. He said he wants that one. He wants the throwback Vince Carter Raptors one, and there
that's a
was
good one.
another colorway one that he wanted.
Listen. Uh, Hop on it now. Get him the throwback Memphis Ja Morant jersey that they were wearing the other
That
day.
is official. That is very official.
I love the Utah Jazz one, the Donovan Mitchell that they've been wearing.
Oh yeah, that's
Reminded
dope.
me of the Karl Malone, John Stockton.
Hmm.
They, yeah, there's a couple jerseys, man. The Brooklyn ones look nice. I don't know if you saw the Brooklyn ones.
The Bed Stuy one with
Yeah,
the Biggie stuff down the side. That's pretty dope.
yeah. So there's a couple jerseys that you will be purchasing. I mean, we will be betting on.
Oh, we got jokes. Don't worry.
You
I'm up two in the NFL picks.
listen. I actually cashed in on another bet because Mike wanted to make an NFL bet with me too, and he tried telling me that the Browns weren't going to win 5 games this year. I said, okay, cool, 5 games, I'll take that. So I ate for free on Thursday too. So I'm chilling.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. You're just cashing in all over the place.
Listen, man, and number one in my money league right now for fantasy. Shout out Christian McCaffrey, as Gerald McCoy says, the most talented white boy to ever grace the NFL.
Now, I had a conversation with one of my boys about that. Christian McCaffrey and Luka Doncic, they are two white athletes pretty much stepping up in a, predominantly minority driven sports, NFL and NBA. And they're showcasing that, these guys
Yo,
can hang.
but check this out, right? And I don't care. I think it's funny. But I always find it humorous. Like I know Gerald McCoy meant that as a compliment. I know
Right.
there was no negative intentions in there. I started dying laughing when I heard it. But I can't help but think if the shoe was on the other foot and someone was to say a white guy came out and said, I don't know, any other ethnicity, whether he was Native American, Spanish, black, and dropped the same quote and was wired. I'd be curious to see how that was taken in by
Yeah.
everybody.
It would probably be a little different there.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it might not be overlooked so easily, but he does have a point. Christian McCaffrey he's one bad man.
That's a bad white boy, y'all.
Listen, I'm,
From Remember the Titans back in the day.
listen, Christian McCaffrey been getting down, boy. He's best running back in the league right now.
Best running back in the league, youngest player to ever get 99 in Madden.
Yeah, he is that too, man. His Madden rating definitely shot up out the roof. So it'll be interesting to see. It sucks that he's on. Hopefully, Carolina can build a team around him.
I
Um,
think they will. I think they'll get some pieces, or at least some draft picks, from trading Cam Newton this offseason.
yeah, but I always hate when now they're talking about maybe the head coach being fired, similar to like with the Cowboys. Like, I just don't understand when when conversations like this get leaked or they become like a narrative during the season. I feel like there's nothing positive that can come out of it. Like you got Jerry Jones now bashing publicly his head coach, and I understand his frustration because while I don't always necessarily agree with him, he has, as the GM, built a really talented roster. I mean, you look at their roster, and there really is no weaknesses. And we
Right.
can all agree that what's holding that team back and what's been holding that team back right now is the head coach. I mean, people used to throw it on Dak, and even though he's in the same division as me, as us rather, he's been balling this year. He's been holding his own, and they got a star at every position. So for them to be a team teetering on 500, I think is a little crazy. But when you go out and you ostracize the head coach like that, I feel like that does nothing good. I mean, for as an Eagles fan, I love it because it means that there's turmoil, and I feel like it can either do one or two things. It's either going to spark them, and they're going to go on some crazy run, and then they're going to say the players are playing for the head coach, hoorah, or
Right.
or you go out there and lose the next game, and it turns into a dumpster fire, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah. Which we'll get into it later, but I think that might be the case. But on Saturday night, we had the return of the Bronze Bomber himself,
God,
Mr.
boy.
Mr. Deontay Wilder. He did his thing, knocked Ortiz back to, I don't know where the hell he sent him to.
So, what I found hilarious, you watched it, right? Did you,
Yep.
you watched it?
I
You
did.
could hear the commentary, like you were somewhere where you could hear it.
Right.
So all the boxing pundits that were doing the fight, they were all on like the same page, saying, "Oh, you can't give too many rounds to Ortiz. This is going a lot like the first fight." And then he lays him out with one punch, and they hop right back on that bandwagon.
It's true.
What I will say though is the first few fights I ever saw of Wilder, I was like, all right. I mean, obviously, he's chiseled out of stone. He doesn't look like he's scared of anybody when he gets in the ring, and he hits hard as a mother. But he wasn't a boxer.
He's a puncher.
I'm gonna hit you really hard, and you're gonna go to sleep.
Yeah.
What I saw against Ortiz, you started to see. I think honestly, the best thing for him is that Tyson Fury is around, because I think that fight with Tyson Fury, if there wasn't someone with Fury's pedigree, boxing style, ability in the heavyweight division, I don't think it would benefit Wilder in that he wouldn't feel the need to really step his game up. He might have, but I feel like this helps push that trajectory of his even higher and faster.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
in that Fury fight, he got exposed. Fury exposed him as a technical boxer, not so much, X's and O's, but like technically, you saw the head movement was different with Fury. You saw.
Well, Fury, man, listen. As a pure boxer, watching Fury fight is beautiful, man. His head movement for a guy that size, he's very precise with his punches. I love watching him fight. So I think that taught Deontay Wilder a lot, and you saw it kind of in the Ortiz fight. Let the big man tire himself out a little. He took a few shots, but nothing really heavy landed on him. He did a good job of not taking that beating, like we saw the first fight, where he got caught a few times, got a little wobbly on them legs, and you almost thought Ortiz was going to lay him out. And then, man, when that punch he hit him with, it wasn't the normal wild, overhand punch that just clips somebody and knocks him out. That was precise as hell.
That was down Main Street, coming right at your face. Yeah.
It wasn't one of those, I'm going to hook this punch around, I got a long reach, and I'm going to hope it lands. My man was like, bro, I'm going to hit you dead center in the middle of your head, and you're going to feel this.
And then all you saw was the sweat fly off his head. It was insane. Absolutely insane.
Knockouts in boxing look crazy, but when you watch them in slow motion, man, it's not good for my psyche. I can't watch it in slow motion.
They look worse in slow motion.
Like, you see the eyes roll back, you see the eyebrow going like this, the sweat. It's like, damn, man. Like, you see a concussion happen live in boxing, you're like, oh, shoot, that sucks. He needs to go to the hospital. In slow motion, you watch it and you're like, is he going to get up?
You're like, please be okay. please.
Yeah, he got cracked, man.
It's like
No,
that classic Simba meme where it's like, "Are you okay? Are
yeah,
you
no.
okay?"
And on a side note, I want to know how much that mask he keeps wearing out to all these fights cost.
That was a new one. That mask was pretty.
Bro, he rocks a new one every fight.
Yeah,
So it's good.
it's crazy. Now,
Now we
oh,
get
hold
Curry.
on. Before we continue on, Astros used blinking lights. Yankees complained to MLB about blinking lights in center field early in Game 6 of the 2019 ALCS at Minute Maid Park.
I'm over it. They got caught. It is what it is, man.
Now it's just the tidal wave. Like it's everything else is coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish it wouldn't be so slow. Like if I'm the Astros, I'm coming out and I'm just owning it. I'm like, listen, and you know what else you don't know? This, that, and the third. Now leave us alone. Give us
Yeah.
the fine. Give us the penalty. Keep it moving. Because this thing is like a
It's
slow death.
drawn out. You know they got all this information, and it's slowly leaking. It's like, come on, all right. We know you got all this stuff. Let us know what you got. Figure it out, and then let's get it popping.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Not a big deal anymore.
All right. And then this last week, well, the last 2 weeks really in college basketball, we have upset city. We had Duke go down last night. We had Kentucky go down a few weeks ago. Michigan State, like, what's going on in the college basketball landscape right now that in these early tournaments, these powerhouse teams, top 5 ranked, are falling? Is it just rust and learning to play with each other? Or is it more of a fundamental thing? Like, are these guys not going to click? Because, you know, come later on in the season, you know, they're going to start playing in their conferences and all this stuff. They're going to start blowing people out. But a lot of the times in past years, these games are the ones that they're blowing people out, not later on in the season.
I mean, I think it's kind of a mixture of both things. I also feel like these past few years we've been spoiled as basketball fans. If you look at a lot of the young talent that's come into the NBA, I mean, there's been some crazy draft classes, and we're starting to see, you know, the fruition of that in a lot of the young players that are, you know, you got Luka Doncic, you've got Trae Young, you've got a lot of young players, and I feel like the past few years we've had one or two or even 3 schools where 3 5-stars, 4 5-stars, and not just normal 5-stars. These are like generational type talents.
Yeah.
All team up and play on one team. And for this year, man, you really don't have that one team that you look at and go, all right, I mean, this is a whole bunch of monsters in their starting 5. There's every team. So you could take it from a team by team basis. So Kentucky, yes, they were number 1 after that good showing in the Madison Square Garden tournament that they played in. I think it's a
Right.
2K Classic. But they're a team that's, you know, they have a couple veterans, but most of their guards that lead the way are freshmen. Freshmen are going to struggle. You know, they're going to have games where they look amazing. They're going to have games where they don't look so hot. It's just what happens. I think Duke's loss was pretty big in that it happened in Cameron Indoor, and you really don't see them lose at home.
Yeah.
But that's another team that you look at, and they have, don't get me wrong, they have amazing talent. But again, you don't have that one transcendent player. There's not one player in college basketball that I look at right now and I go, okay, that's the next Zion. Okay, that's the next so-and-so. I mean, Georgia's got a really good guard. Last name, I think, is Edwards, and he put up 33 in the second half in the Maui Invitational against Michigan State. But again, it's as far as NBA talent goes, it looks like it's just him on that team.
Yeah.
So you just have a lot more parity this year. I feel like you don't have that upper echelon transcending talent. So you're going to see a lot of upsets. Eventually, these teams will separate themselves from the pack. You'll see the normal Dukes, Kentucky, Kansases. But I feel like this year's tournament's going to be a lot more interesting, and there's going to be a lot more teams in it that can actually get to the Final Four and to the championship game.
Yeah, I think the parity's a lot more balanced now throughout the college basketball landscape. But I guess time will tell and see how the season plays out. We've got the latest in the college football standings. It is Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, and Georgia. Number 5 is Alabama. Alabama holding strong at 5, but they have the tough test in Auburn on Saturday for the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the way they have it set up, if Alabama handles business, they could look to squeeze their way into the Final Four. I feel like obviously them losing Tua is huge for them. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see how the new quarterback is able to handle things. I really like LSU, but their defense is a little leaky,
Yeah.
especially
They
the
give up a
past
lot.
2 weeks. Obviously, Joey Burrow has been balling, and they got tons of talent on the offensive side of the ball. But you look at a team like Ohio State. I mean, they're pretty dominant on both ends.
Yeah.
So
And they just got their big boy back on defense, Chris Young.
yeah, Chase Young, man, he's
Chase Young, sorry, yeah, Chase Young.
bona fide top 2 or 3 pick. You know how it goes every year. He'll be number 1 on the draft boards, but some team will reach for a quarterback inevitably.
It's true.
But it'll be interesting to see how the playoffs shape out. I would like to see some of these other teams. Like you've got Utah. I think they're sitting at 6 or 7. It'd be cool to get a couple new teams in there instead of seeing the same Clemson, Alabama, Georgia,
Ohio State, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple new teams in there, some fresh blood. So we'll see what happens. Man, our Canes lost to FIU.
That was horrible, man. Horrible.
So you're still holding on to this turning over a new leaf with Manny Diaz thing, or?
Man, I was. I'm like, I love the swag. I see your point from the beginning of the season, but
my God, swag only works when you win.
Yeah, it's true. We look horrible doing it when you don't win. When you lose to teams that you should be blowing out.
They had another 3-star recruit that decommitted. Obviously, I don't know if it was because I'm assuming it wasn't just because of that game, but it's never a good look when you lose to in-state rivals like that.
But we did pick up 2 4-star recruits, I believe, 1 running back and 1 wide receiver. So, some positives. Yeah.
All right.
That committed to Miami over like Clemson and Alabama.
Anytime you can beat Clemson and Alabama to a prospect, I feel good about that.
Yeah. And then NBA. The season's in full effect. Luka Doncic is balling out. We got James Harden.
Except last night. He ran into
Except last night, yep. He ran into the glove last night.
Well, here's the thing, man. And I said it before the season started. Having Kawhi and having Paul George, it's cool on the offensive end, man, but where that team's really going to shine, and you've seen it thus far, even though they haven't played too many games together, because you had Paul George coming back for injury and Kawhi Leonard on his cyborg maintenance that he takes every couple of games.
Nice.
But, man, on the defensive end, dude, when they want to lock down, it's scary, the lineup that they could put out there. Because you got someone like, I know Russell Westbrook wasn't too kind to him, but in my book, Patrick Beverley, he definitely plays defense. He definitely locks up. Obviously, I think his analogy was Harden still had 44. Last I checked, he's almost averaging 44. So there's really no good defense for an offensive player like that. You just kind of it's a team effort. You got to keep him at bay, throw a whole bunch of bodies at him, try and cut him off. My point being, when you have someone like Paul George and Kawhi who can switch everything, there's no such thing as, a mismatch. Either of them can play pretty much the 1 through 5 with the small ball lineups that are going out there. And you've got Montrezl Harrell, and then you have the best bench player in the NBA in Lou Williams, who's this generation's Jamal Crawford.
Who I would say flies under the radar. Because a lot of people are like, it's Paul George and Kawhi. But you forget about Lou Williams coming
Lou
off the
Williams,
bench.
I think he's averaging 20. He's averaging like 20 points off the bench.
Yeah,
He
that's
he
nuts.
comes in the game, man, and he shuts it down. I think him and Montrezl Harrell. I was watching them play the Mavs, obviously the other night, and they put up a statistic that I think for pick and rolls when they're on the floor per whatever 36 minutes or whatever the clip was, they lead the NBA in efficiency. So low key, that's a 1-2 punch that's given a lot of second units trouble.
Yeah,
Um, so that Clippers team, man, is going to be something else. And to my point, you saw Luka. You know, he has the ball in his hand. He leads the league in possessing the ball per whatever 35 minutes. But there was a couple passes he threw that got picked off, and you could tell he was kind of pissed off at himself for throwing them. But that's just when you play inferior teams and teams that can't play the defense the way the Clippers does. Those passing lanes are there. Those passes get through. But there was a couple times he threw it, and Paul George would turn on the burners, intercept it. Kawhi did it a few times too. So watching them on the defensive end, man, is really something special. I think I would love to see a 7-game series with them and the Lakers.
yeah, that'd be an awesome series. Maybe the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, if the chips fall right, I could definitely see that being the conference finals. The only thing that throws that off is in this new basketball, people really aren't concerned about seeding.
Yeah,
You know, you see it now.
it's true.
Kawhi Leonard, they're just making sure he's fresh for the playoffs. So we'll see where they land. They might meet before the conference finals, but as long as I get that matchup, I'll be pretty happy.
Now, what do you think? There's a lot of talk right now that's looking like it's going to be something. They're talking about either shortening the season, structuring the playoffs, not having 8 conferences, being seeding by record. What do you think of this whole new NBA look that they're trying to do right now?
So the seeding by record is in my opinion just a way for them to try and make the regular season matter.
Right.
You see a lot of teams right now, they kind of know, all right, if I'm in the Eastern Conference, it's a little weaker than the West. I can rest some of my players. As long as we get into the playoffs, it's all good. If you open that up to, no holds bar, just the best records make it in, you're going to see a lot more teams put an emphasis on winning these regular season games.
Right.
As far as the season goes, man, I think the last time they had a lockout, they had a shortened season.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, they had a definitely a smaller season than the 82 games they're at now, and I enjoyed it more. I mean, I love basketball, but at the same time, if you got these players that are going to go on these maintenance plans and not play 20 of them, I mean, you got to think from a fan's perspective. If I'm paying to 3 months in advance to go see LeBron play, and then the game rolls around and he's a DMP because he just needed the day off,
Yeah.
I'd be pissed.
Or old as the Spurs used to do back in the day.
Well, Greg Popovich is the reason why this all started. And the crazy thing about it is the NBA was dying to say something to him, but he's so good as far as just being a coach that he would tell Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan, bro, you're good. We're playing, whatever team was a bottom dweller at the time. And he'd go and he'd smoke them with his bench. So what is the NBA going to say?
Yeah, it's true.
He's putting a winning product out there. So I think if you're going to have players, worried about maintenance, worried about staying healthy, and they can find a common ground where they're like, listen, we'll shorten the season to this amount of games, but you guys got to strap up and play. I think
Right.
if they find a middle ground, I think everyone kind of wins in that. So I'll be interested to see how this all plays out. And Adam Silver is always looking to try and be progressive. He's always trying to push the envelope, try new things. They moved the 3-point line a little further back this year, so he's always trying to tweak rules and try things to see if they stick.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Now, our bread and butter, the NFL, what we love.
Yes, sir.
Week 13.
Yeah, I
We
can't
are-
believe week 13. That's crazy to me.
Week 13, man. NFL's
even make
talking about possibly adding another regular season game to the mix.
They'll cut a preseason game off.
They'll cut a preseason game, though. There's also talks of Maybe moving the Rams down to, or not the Rams, the Chargers down to Mexico. Maybe giving Canada a team. Expanding the teams, the league.
You know what?
I think it helps.
Here's my big issue with it, and obviously money talks, and they're gonna be able to find players. But I'd be interested to see, like, if they move it to Mexico, isn't too far as logistically, but they were talking about London, because they've been playing a lot of.
That makes no sense to me.
But even if it doesn't, even if they're able to work out the schedules, you're telling me that a top tier player, and some of them some of them might be like, oh man, that's a cool experience, let's go. But I think for the most part, a lot of these players, they want to stay in the States.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me that top players, they're going to get the money no matter what. I feel like it would put a team at a disadvantage if they're somewhere like London, because they're not going to have the same shot as everybody else to land some top flight players. Like I said, some of them are going to be cool. Jay Ajayi would love, a team over there.
Go back home, yeah.
Yeah, because that's home. But you're going to have a lot of players that are going to be like, dude, I'm not leaving my whole family to go play in London. It's not happening.
Look at Phillip Rivers right now. He drives 3 hours to practice every day in a Sprinter van because he will not move from San Diego to LA.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry. He's going to be – if he keeps playing the way he's playing, man, he's not going to have to do that job for too much longer.
Yeah.
You get a pick and you get a pick. But
I wanted to get – go ahead.
He set himself up nice for retirement, though. He got about 27 kids, so –
yeah, he'll be all right.
He'll be all right. He definitely won't be short of hobbies.
Now, what do you think? I've heard a lot of rumblings. Booger McFarland is not very popular for the Monday Night Booth. Do you think we get a revamped Monday Night Booth come next year? We got new faces, new players, or whatever the case may be.
I never want to knock anybody, and I feel like, Booger McFarland, he definitely he makes good points. I just feel like he's just not it for the booth.
Right.
Like, and I think, to be honest with you, I think some of it also stems from the fact that they were the ones that put his ass in that little seat that moved across. I know they got rid of it, but I still think that some fans, like, they're still mad at it in a way. They're like, nah, you're that guy that screwed up my view when I went to go watch my home team play. I ain't messing with you. I don't think he's terrible. I just feel like people, when it's Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, they want the best of the best out there.
Right.
So could it be where maybe they switch it up and he starts doing more 1 o'clock games and they get a more established voice, somebody, it's all a matter of someone's taste. Because I know a lot of people were high on Tony Romo, but he does, and again, he's great, but he does these sound effects. I don't know
if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But when he tries to put himself in the quarterback's head, which obviously he knows the play, I'm not talking about that. But on replay, he'll be like, oh, yeah, thought you were going to get me. Nope.
Yeah. It don't work, Tony. It don't work.
Why are you doing that? It sounds weird. But who the hell am I? They're in the booth. I'm not. But, and I don't know. They'll probably end up doing something. I feel like for the past few years, they haven't been able to get that booth right. At first, it was, them complaining about Jason Witten. Now Jason Witten's playing. Maybe Booger will get a contract. He'll start playing again.
You never know, man. You never know. Now, before we get into the picks, we have the anomaly, the unicorn, the come see me at the bank.
Where the hell are you going with this?
What some may say will be the league MVP, Lamar Jackson.
Oof. You mean the wide receiver or the running back?
The quarterback.
Oh, him.
The opposite.
Yes. Oh, him too.
Everybody's – he's that, you're playing fantasy basketball. You've got a point guard, shooting guard, and center all in one position. That's Lamar Jackson.
Man, he's special, bro. It's funny, too, because it's not even just his legs. Even when he does his little play-action passes.
They're crisp. They're on the money, man.
It's weird, though, because when I watch it, I feel like – you ever see Aaron Rodgers when he does it? He actually got Joey Bosa with some – I know they got crushed, but I don't know if you saw the fake handoff. where he
Oh
hit
yeah.
it behind his back, and he was so comfortable in his ball handling that he kind of turned his back to Joey Bosa and was like looking the other way, like, oh, there he goes, Joey, and Joey peeled off right, and he was like, just kidding.
Yeah.
So Lamar, he's so fast with his ball handling that sometimes when he does like these RPOs, I feel like he's finished with the RPO already on his second progression before the offensive lines even move. He
Yeah.
does nothing slow.
Yeah. Everything's 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's really amazing to watch, and for people that keep broadcasting the games and fans too that are talking about it, and they're saying, yeah, we'll see if it's gonna be able to hold up. Listen, if you can't catch him, you can't hit him.
You can't hit him, yeah.
And I've yet to see in the 2 years, I mean, maybe you can point one out and correct me if I'm wrong. I've yet to see him take a real big hit. There's certain players, man, like, I'm not trying to bring it back to my Eagles, but like Carson Wentz, and he's no Lamar Jackson, obviously, but every time he gets hit, it looks like he's getting hit by a dump truck. Like he never, there's just certain players that look like they can't avoid the contact to save their life. And then you got Lamar Jackson,
Mason
who's
Rudolph.
like Gumby.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got Lamar Jackson, who's like Gumby out there. He goes, he makes a spin move, somebody's coming in to crush him, and somehow manages to just kind of glide off of him. I mean, and now he's starting to be able to throw from the pocket. It's crazy when you look at the team, too, because they're not even getting that much production out of their wide receivers. Go look at their wide receiver numbers. I know they have some talented wide receivers. Willie Snead is really slept on, but he makes a ton of nice catches. Yeah. Boykin is another wide receiver that I feel like, he's starting to gain some traction, and in a few years he's going to be, I could see him as a top 15 wide receiver. He's got that type of skill. And obviously Marquise Brown can take the top off of any defense. So they do have weapons. My point is there's so much growth still there.
It's going to be insane. Like I watched him make one pass the other night where No, it was a straight from the pocket. His tight end was kind of breaking up upfield, kind of like a little bit of a go route. But any normal young quarterback would have fed it to the right side where, you had, I forgot who it was, maybe Jalen Ramsey or one of the corners on that side who would have jumped the route and picked it. Lamar fed it to him on the inside where he had to readjust, but once he readjusted, he was open for like another 15 yards. It's throwing your receiver open, which a lot of these young guys don't do. They hold the ball too long. They don't know what they're doing back there. They get frustrated. They get flustered. This kid just looks calm, cool, and collected, and like nothing phases him.
I mean, you have to credit that a lot to he has the utmost confidence in his offensive line, and B, let's be honest, a lot of quarterbacks, they get scared. No, I don't want to say scared in the pocket, acting like I wouldn't be, flustered in the pocket, right?
Yeah.
But when you know you're the fastest guy, like he's fast, he's probably the fastest guy in the field most of the time.
Right.
Outside of Marquise Brown, I think he'll give him a run for his money. But he's at least top 2, top 3 fastest on the field all times, right?
Yep.
So when you're that fast, and on top of that, the first rushers that are going to get to you are normally linemen. And I know we have some freakish athletes at the line, at the defensive line position now, and especially some linebackers. But chances are he's going to be a lot faster than them. So for him, it's almost like he's got an extra 20 seconds in the pocket, because even if they throw him off his spot, he knows he's fast enough to just run right around. Like, he doesn't have to sit there and think as some of these immobile quarterbacks do. Like, once the defense gets there, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
For him, man, he's like, all right, cool, they're here, no one's open. Let me go scamper over there for 15 yards, and then I'll post up over there, and if no one's open, maybe I'll just beeline it back. And you've got players now reaching out to Michael Vick saying, dude, what do we do? Like, how do we defend this? And the crazy thing is you can scheme as much as you want, man. When you are a better athlete than the man in front of you, X's and O's sometimes isn't going to save you.
It's not going to matter. Yeah.
So you just got to hope and pray that he's off his game as far as receiving-wise, but they've done an amazing job building that team around him. He's got like 16 tight ends. All of them can block. So you don't know what the hell they're going to do.
And all of them can catch, too.
And I said it when he was a free agent. I said it when New Orleans let him go. Mark Ingram is criminally underrated.
Yeah.
That man runs like he's like a little fire hydrant, and he runs everything in his path over.
Yeah.
And you see it. I mean, Kamara, I know he's been dealing with some injuries this year, but everyone expected once Ingram was gone that Alvin Kamara was going to, step
Show
up,
up
take
and
the
show
lead.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're seeing that maybe they missed that. I know Latavius Murray's had a couple good runs, so I'm not trying to knock him, but they missed that 1-2 punch of, Ingram really being a battering ram, and the defense is like, bro, I don't want to tackle nobody no more. And then you got the shifty Kamara coming out. So I think as good as New Orleans is playing, and their record is obviously really good.
They
True
missed that
serve,
man.
I think they would have liked to re-sign Ingram and have him back.
Yeah, man. Now let's jump into it. Week 13, our picks. We got a triple stack Thursday night. Hope you guys enjoyed the graphic, by the way, that we threw up courtesy of our friends over at Tally Site Sports.
That reminds me, I got to do my picks for this.
On the Instagram page. Stay tuned for it. We'll have another one this week, so shout out to those guys, and thanks to them for that graphic. But week 13, I'm currently up 2 games going in.
Yeah, what up, dog?
Up 2.
Positive vibes only.
First game, the 12:30 game. Chicago at Detroit. Chicago is a -4 favorite.
Can we first talk about how bad most of these Thanksgiving games? Like, I know the name Chicago and Detroit sounds good, but outside of the middle game, I ain't really too excited. I know Atlanta always seems to play New Orleans tough and handed them a loss a couple weeks ago.
Well,
but
considering
I'm not really
how Atlanta played last week, not so good.
Yeah, I know. So it's interesting to me that some of the best game is the middle game, Buffalo Dallas. But continue. I apologize. Go ahead, man.
Chicago.
What you looking at? You looking at Forbes so I can look at the right point spread here?
No. I'm looking at ESPN point
Golly.
spread.
All right. You was
ESPN.
using Forbes, now you using. See, this is, bro. This is shiesty.
ESPN's point spread is what we're going with. Chicago is a -4 favorite. I'm going Chicago here on the road. That defense is smothering. Detroit is playing with a backup quarterback. Stafford's still not right. You hear the rumblings that Patricia maybe lost this locker room. So I'm going Chicago here.
Is it another Belichick disciple that just can't instill the Patriot way?
It might be.
I just think it's unfair because when Stafford was there, they were playing really good. It wasn't like they were, I know their record. You look at their record, and you're like, "Ouch, bad year." But they were in a lot of really close games, and they played. I mean, they played the Chiefs down to the nitty gritty. They played, I think they played Green Bay pretty good too in Lambeau. So they've had a lot of close losses. Saying that, Stafford isn't playing. I still think that Chicago defense, while it hasn't been what it was last year, I still think it's enough, and I don't quite trust the quarterback that's playing for Detroit right now, so I'm going to have to go with Chicago.
All right. Next game up, 4:30, Buffalo at Dallas. Dallas is
Let's see where your heart is.
-6.5 favorite. I'm going Buffalo right here.
All right, whatever, dog. Yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo too. I was hoping I could get you going. And you know what it is? Wait, what's the point spread? You got to tell me the point spread.
6.5.
6.5. Okay, so I'm looking at the same one.
The 6.5 is rich.
It is, especially with that Bills defense. Josh Allen has been playing a little better these past few weeks. Nothing crazy. They've been playing all right though. And to be honest with you, like I said, man, I don't really like what Jerry Jones been doing.
Yeah.
Coming out, flaming his
Bashing
coaches when they're in the middle of a playoff. Trying to make the playoffs here, only up a game in what's probably the worst division in the NFL right now. Shout out NFC East. Yeah, but
the NFC
I'm
Beast,
Buffalo.
right? Is that no?
Yeah, I'm a roll Buffalo.
All right. Now the nightcap, while people are out going crazy, they're Black Friday shopping, which for some reason starts at 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day.
Slow for that. No. Why?
New Orleans at Atlanta. New Orleans is a -7 favorite.
I guess you're waiting for me, Sunshine.
Go ahead.
I'm
I already went first the last two. I'm not going to keep giving you great picks here.
Listen, I'm gonna go New Orleans. You talking too much. Let me finish. I'm gonna go New Orleans. I know it's -7 and Atlanta's home. I just don't trust them. Who you going with?
I'm going New Orleans too.
Okay, fine. Anyway, Julio Jones is a game time decision. So
And I feel like New Orleans gonna have a chip on their shoulder after when they played, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, where they got mollywopped.
yeah,
I got New Orleans here.
Alfred.
A little throwback there for you.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, continue. Now we got these Sunday slate games.
Sunday slate, 1 o'clock. Jets at Cincinnati. Jets are a -3.5.
Yeah, you can give me the Jets here.
I'm going Jets here.
I know they're switching back to Andy Dalton, but at this point, the Bengals are playing for their. I wonder how he feels, man. You got benched, now you're going back in. If I'm Andy Dalton, check this out. If I'm Andy Dalton, man, I am trying my hardest to show out, and it's not for the other teams. It's more because I know that the more games I win, the better I can just stick it to them.
Stick it to the Bengals on the way out? Yeah, I could see that.
Because you're getting rid of me regardless. I'm about to win as many games as I can so that you guys don't get the quarterback you want.
A nice middle finger on the way out to everybody.
Exactly. But listen, the Jets, I didn't see them going in killing Oakland like that.
Yeah,
they've been playing well these past few weeks. I don't really trust Cincinnati's defense. Jets defense seems to be playing well. So I just think Adam Gase picks up the win here.
Yeah. Basically echoing what you said. I don't see the Jets losing in this one.
Of course you would have said, Fred. Come on now.
Tennessee at Indy. Indy is a -2.5 favorite here. I'm going with the hot hand, and I'm going Tennessee.
Yeah, listen, I'm going Tennessee too. After what they did last week, my God, this Ryan Tannehill here, boy, this is interesting because. Yeah.
What do you do with Marcus now? Deuces to Marcus?
Marcus gone. They ready to pack his bags. He's gone. Next year he's gonna be playing a backup quarterback somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because when Ryan Tannehill was coming out of Texas A&M, he was playing wide receiver. So maybe this is his coming out party. Maybe he didn't really have that much experience playing the position. He was injured a lot in Miami, and it is Miami.
And you have no offensive line.
Maybe a player that succeeded there. The Titans have a lot of pieces. Delaney Walker's unfortunately on IR now, but Geno Smith looks okay. They've got two good wide receivers. A.J. Brown, I think he averaged 40 yards a catch last week. He had like 4 catches for 140 yards. Corey Davis, still a young and up-and-coming wide receiver. They obviously have the two-headed monster back there with Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis. So they got some things going. I really am not a believer in Jacoby Brissett. I think he's holding that Colts team back. So I can see Tennessee picking up this dub.
I agree with you, man. Next up, Oakland at Kansas City. Kansas City is a -10 favorite. I'm going Kansas City. I've been rolling with them all year.
You have
after what Oakland put up last week versus the Jets, I'm going Kansas City. Maybe not a blowout, but they'll cover the 10 points.
I struggle with this one because Kansas City's defense, it really is that bad.
Yeah.
It's a division game. I need to pick up a game. So you know what? I know they looked terrible last week, but I have a sneaky suspicion that they will backdoor this game. And that 10 points, KC's going to win, but it's going to be an 8 or a 9.
Okay.
I don't quite think the 10. I think the ability for Josh Jacobs to run the ball against them is going to come up big. Like I said, it's a division game, so normally the division games can be played a little tighter, a la what the Dolphins manage to do every year against the Patriots somehow. Um, so that being said, I think the Raiders get back on track, not in the winning column, but at least putting a respectable game out there.
All right. Philly at Miami. Philly is a -10 favorite here.
-10. You know, it's funny, man.
-10 is rich. It's
Listen,
very rich.
it's rich. It's rich. But damn, we gotta beat the Dolphins by double digits, right? I mean, I'm going with Philly in this one. You know what scares me though? Is Ryan Fitzpatrick don't care about life, bro.
He
Like,
don't. He don't.
like he don't care about his body. He don't care, he don't care what his team's record is. He gonna go out there, and if you give him a shot to to go out there and win a game, he might just do it. I know that whole team has looked terrible, but I thought we were gonna beat him last year when he was in Tampa Bay, subbing in for good old Jameis Winston. First play of the game, he had Deshaun Jackson for about 8 million yards.
Now, Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffries.
So check this out, right? We released. I really hate what they've been doing. Every game, I think it's a bad look when you have a player that plays a substantial amount of snaps for you and the very next day gets cut. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it's messed up.
So, not even just from like a personal level, because obviously it's a business, so you got to take that out.
Right.
But how bad are you at assessing talent, or how bad is the talent that you currently have that you can have a player like Jordan Matthews play 85% of the snaps outside and then cut him the next day? Or you have Zach Brown, a starting linebacker, cut him the next day. They've done this about 3 or 4 times now, where as soon as the game is over, the next day, someone who's played, they did it to Orlando Scandrick. They cut him the next day after he was a starter. So I don't like that trend at all. However, I will say we have to see what we have in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. And Doug Peterson came out, said, listen, he's going to be the one starting opposite Alshon Jeffrey, so I am excited to see how that works. Hopefully Jordan Howard can get back. Zach Ertz has a hamstring injury, so we'll see if that limits him. Supposedly he had it during the Seattle game too, and he was able to play through it. Those kind of iffy for me, because they can flare up at any time. But they have to go in and they have to take care of the Dolphins, man. If it's a close game, or if you don't, or if you, God forbid, you lose. I mean, you lose a game like that, season's over in my eyes.
Yeah. I'm going Miami here.
Wow, you son of a gun.
Yep. I'm going Miami. The 10 is rich. Philly's reeling a little bit. I think Fitzmagic might sneak up there and take one.
Listen, they're reeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
On offense, they look putrid, without a doubt. That defense has done a 180, if I must say.
The defense is there, but the offense.
No. The
what's going on?
offense, there's no excuse for what they're putting right now on the field offensively. But I do feel like defensively, they've been holding teams down. Listen, we haven't been able to score at all. And really, this might just be the fan and me talking right now. But I feel like we should be able to beat this team by 10. If there's ever a get right game for you, Carson, get right.
I'm going Miami.
Whatever.
Green Bay at the Giants. Green Bay is a 6.5 favorite. I'm taking Green Bay all day long. Jones and Adams are going to have a field day. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw like crazy. Green Bay on the road here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Green Bay here. I don't think New York stands much of a chance. I know Daniel Jones has shown some positives. We got to see what's up with Saquon. I know he's averaging like 2 yards a carry right now. I still think that high ankle sprain, like I told you before, man, if you have a high ankle sprain, you can run on it. It's the cutting part, and that's what makes him special. It's his jump cuts, it's his lateral quickness. So,
do you think the high ankle sprain has to do with why he can't pick up blitzes? Or that's something else. We'll let that go then. We'll let it go.
Listen, if you got quads that big, you got to figure it out. Trip them, do something.
How can you not pick up a blitz? Or you're getting pushed back 30 feet and your quarterback's getting blown up because you don't know how to.
The only thing I can say is if I had a high ankle sprain, maybe when you're anchoring down, it doesn't allow you Was this a problem? Okay, that's cool. I could talk to myself. Anyway, was this a problem as a rookie? I don't remember him like struggling to pick up the blitz.
No, I don't. I don't remember it being this bad.
So I
Last
don't know.
year.
I don't know what it is, man. But he needs to get it together. That team needs to get it together. Green Bay, after getting shellacked like that, I think Aaron Rodgers, like you said, about to turn up real time. One time for the one time.
Ooh. All right. Washington at Carolina. Carolina is a -10 favorite here. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey to run for about 150 on
That's
this
it?
Washington defense. At least 150.
Yeah, I got him in fantasy, so I'm definitely going. I'm going Carolina here.
And when
I
your
was-
quarterback's taking selfies before the end of the game when he should be taking a knee,
Well, listen. I mean, the offensive line really don't mess with him anyway, so he
That's
might as
true.
well live his best life.
it's very true.
Yeah, that was a bad look. Did you get my pick though?
Yes. Carolina.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go Carolina.
All right. Tampa Bay at Jacksonville. Tampa Bay's a -1 favorite here.
Yo, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a year like Jameis Winston? Like the weird stat lines that he puts up.
What is
For
he
example-
at 20 picks right now? Almost?
No, like that's my point. So I know Bruce Arians likes to throw the ball. I get it. But I was looking last week, bro. He had like 265 yards at halftime. At halftime, 265, three
Yeah.
touchdowns, but then like 3 picks. It's like you watch it and you're like, you're so good, but you're so bad at the same time.
Yeah, it's true.
He's got 2 wide receivers that are in the top 10 in wide receiver yards, if I'm not mistaken. Only team that has that. So, like, he's getting them the ball, but he's also turning the ball over a lot. I don't know what to make of that. Who they playing?
Jacksonville,
Oh,
who's a dumpster fire right now.
yeah. I mean, listen, for all those people that are out there clamoring, saying how Nick Foles is the answer in Philly,
He's not doing so good in Jacksonville.
he ain't doing so good in Jacksonville, and I wouldn't be surprised if Gardner Minshew makes the comeback with the Dirty Sanchez mustache he'd be rocking. That being said, I just don't like this game at all. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay, I guess, because I have to pick.
Yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay too. They had the heaviest lineman to ever score a touchdown, and Maui from Moana. I don't know if you saw him last.
Say that to his face, bro, when he decks you.
Yo, when he came out, I was all about it. When he came out on stage on draft night and his traditional Samoan stuff, I'm all for it. Yeah.
They all go to Washington, that or Oregon.
Or Utah.
Yeah, Utah gets a few. Yo, Utah's team is nice. This year, too.
USC used to get him too with
Yeah,
Palomalu and
linebackers.
yep. All right. This should be the 8 o'clock game. This should have gotten flexed into the 8 o'clock. San Francisco at Baltimore
The fact that this is a 1 o'clock game,
is ridiculous.
it's
And
disgusting.
you're not going to see it anywhere. You're not going to see it because New York is going to have these stupid-ass Jets and Giants games. Horrible.
NFL Sunday ticket. Right?
Shut up, Joe.
Okay.
San Francisco at Baltimore. Baltimore a -6 favorite.
What's the line?
-6 for Baltimore at home. I'll go
I'll
first.
go San Francisco.
San Francisco. Wow.
I
Okay.
know you're gonna go Baltimore. I get it. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. Lamar Jackson is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Nobody can stop him. However, that defensive line in San Fran, I'm not saying they're gonna catch him, but if there's a line that's gonna catch him, it's that one.
But if this same offensive line held Aaron Donald, the best defensive lineman at Bay,
Okay, yes, but understand this. Who else is? I'm not scared of Dante Fowler. So who else on that line are you scared of besides Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald counts for what, 3 guys on that line?
A question. Who else on the
No,
Rams
there's no one else. There's no one else on that line that scares
Have
me.
you seen the 49ers line? That
Yes, I have.
Pretty freaking good. DeForest Buck, pretty freaking good. I mean, they have 3 or 4 pass rushers, not to mention their
They do.
linebackers. Their front seven is stacked.
Stacked.
Richard Sherman showing you he's still got some life left in them legs. And I feel like that offense, man, I know people were getting on Jimmy G for the slow start. George Kittle's special.
He has to be in there. He has to be healthy because without him, they're not the same offense.
But he is healthy.
No, I'm saying, but without him, they're not that same offense.
They're not. But he is healthy, and he
Yeah.
is a pro. He's my favorite tight end in the NFL. I know I've been on this Ertz bandwagon, but like he is my favorite just because of his personality. Like,
Yeah.
He is,
100%. Yeah.
like a dog. Like if I'm in a foxhole and I need someone to come out throwing grenades, and it's gonna be Kittle.
Yeah.
Debo
He's your
Samuel,
personal hype man.
exactly. Debo Samuel's on the low. He's having a really good month. He has been stretching the field for them. Emmanuel Sanders is there. I just feel like whatever team was going to have the 7 or 8 point favorite is the team I was going to go against, because I just feel like this is going to be a heavyweight battle.
Yeah.
And I think
It's going to be a great game. I know Baltimore just lost their starting center for the year. That's big. But I think, I don't know, man. I don't know if they can stop these guys.
I don't blame you. You can go Baltimore. I'll take the game.
Now, we've got the Rams. Hold on. Let me just get this line. I missed it. Rams at Arizona.
Oh, shoot. My bad. I forgot there's 2 Los Angeles teams. I'm looking at the Chargers. Like, Arizona, where the hell you at? I got Rams at a -3. I don't know what you're sitting at.
Yeah, I've got Rams at a -3 as well. I mean, they didn't show up. Ramsey got punked. I feel like they bounced back this week. I'm going to take the Rams.
On paper, I mean, this Rams team is good. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know why. I kind of like Arizona. I like watching Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, he's going to be a problem in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to be a problem in a few years. Where's it at? It's in Arizona?
It's in Arizona.
You know what? I might regret this one, but I think that Arizona wins this game. I think Kyler Murray makes enough big plays, and Jared Goff, he is just not it, Keith. He has not been playing.
Without a run game, he's not doing it.
No, and I know the Arizona defense isn't world beaters, but I think if it's a shootout, I think Kyler Murray has a chance to outshoot that offense.
Yeah.
Wonder Boy McVay gonna have to dig in his bag because we got to figure something out.
He's gonna have to figure something out. All right, we got the Chargers at Denver, and the Chargers are -2.5 favorite. I know they haven't shown up recently. I know they've struggled, but Phillip Rivers is still Phillip Rivers. He can throw the ball around. Eckler's still getting his. Melvin Gordon's getting his. That defense gets Derwin James back this week.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers too. Don't worry about it.
I'm going Chargers here.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers.
All right, next up we've got the rematch from Helmet Gate.
Helmet Gate, yes.
Helmet Gate. We got Cleveland at Pittsburgh, -2 for Cleveland on the road. Pittsburgh is playing with their third-string quarterback.
Hodges, but listen, he provided a spark. He looked a lot better than Rudolph did.
He did, but I think too much offensive firepower for Cleveland here. I'm taking Cleveland.
Yeah, man, I'm going to go Cleveland here too, just based off of the fact that, the Steelers, James Conner, you don't know if he's going to play. You don't know if Juju's going to play. They're down to their third quarterback.
This game is going to be bad, though. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of personal fouls. There's going to be a lot of after the whistle shit. It's going to be.
But here's the thing. I feel like no. I don't. Feel
You don't think so?
And here's why. Because I know that the NFL commissioner is going to sit there and tell these refs, bro, the first player that breathes on another player wrong, eject them. These refs are going to come out here and make a point. Trust me, they're going to make a point.
You see a lot of flags early.
I think you'll see, like even on hard hits, I think the first hard hit of the game, they're gonna throw a flag. They're gonna throw a flag, unnecessary roughness. They're gonna. It would behoove the NFL refs to call this game as tight as possible the first 2-3 minutes of the game. Just set the tone and say, listen, we're not here for any of that BS. And you got to take a look at a lot of the players that were involved in this aren't playing. Rudolph, benched. Myles Garrett, not there. Pouncey, not there. So
Is Pouncey back this? Pouncey might be back this week, though. No?
Yeah, but even then, I feel like if Garrett was playing, I'd agree with you. I feel like, I don't think Pouncey doesn't come off as a player to me that's going to be like, well, Garrett ain't here, so I'm going to whip your ass because he's not here to take the run of it. I think cooler heads will prevail, and again, I think the NFL is going to make it a mission just because of how ugly it got the first time.
Right.
They're going to make it a point to clean this game up and make sure that it goes smooth sailing.
I can see it. Now, the nightcap, New England at Houston. New England is a -3 favorite on the road. I know it's disciple versus teacher. Here, coach-wise, a lackluster offense in the Patriots against an offense that can put up points with Deshaun, Will Fuller. These guys can stretch the field. Can Brady put up points? I feel like this is the first time we're having this conversation where can the New England offense keep pace with their defense?
I mean, their offense has been struggling all year. So
I'm going. Damn, I'm going Houston here.
Yeah, man. Listen, I hate going against Belichick, the Wizard, but I have to feel like this offense eventually is going to bite him in the butt.
Yeah.
You got a team that's getting healthy in Houston. I know Stephon Gilmore is great. I know their defense is playing lights out, but Deshaun's going to heave a few up there. And when you have DeAndre Hopkins, when you have Will Fuller, when you have Kenny Stills, these type of weapons, Duke Johnson coming out of the backfield, I just feel like they're going to be able to put up enough points to pull the semi upset. I guess on paper you wouldn't call it much of an upset, but anytime the Patriots lose, I feel like everyone's shocked. And it's not at home. I think that's big. I think if they were playing, home, I think I probably would ride with the Patriots. But I just think on this particular game, this is a game that New England is going to drop.
Yeah, I agree. Now the Monday night game. Minnesota at Seattle, -3 for Seattle. Russell Wilson, he's a bad man.
Bad man.
I'm going Seattle here at home.
Yeah?
Yeah.
-3. You got -3, you said?
-3, yep.
Listen, Russell Wilson's a bad man. Tyler Lockett wasn't 100%, they're saying. But this Minnesota defense is really good, too.
It is.
And I feel like offensively, Delvin Cook, when is Thielen coming back? Is he back?
I think he may be back. I'm not sure if he's a game-time decision yet, though.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, something's telling me I'm just going to ride with Minnesota on this one. I know Kirk Cousins does not play well in primetime games. I'm well aware of that. I just feel like with their running game and the amount of weapons they have, they'll be able to stick with them point-wise. And I think their defense is going to cause some issues. I mean, they have really good pass rushers. They have a decent secondary and a really good group of linebackers. So I think Minnesota is going to find a way to win this game.
All right. So we are opposite on 5 games this week. So
this going to either bury me or I'm going to come back all smiles.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So we thank you guys for listening. www.thesportsfrenzypodcast.com. Check out our picks there. Check out our picks on Tallyside Sports as well. We will have the link in the Instagram post on, hopefully maybe tomorrow we'll get it up, or we'll have it all up on Sunday. But stay tuned for that, guys. We appreciate you guys for listening. We'll catch you next week. Peace.